William Blake was born on November 28, 1757, in London, a city of narrow alleyways, crowded markets, and smoky skies. But from the beginning, Blake did not see the world as others did. He saw angels. He saw infinity. He saw what he later called the doors of perception, and believed that behind the ordinary, there was a burning world of meaning. For most people, childhood is a dream that fades. For Blake, it became the source of his entire life's vision. As a young boy, Blake claimed to see a tree filled with shining angels on Peckham Rye. He once said he watched the prophet Ezekiel sitting under a bush. His parents sent him to drawing school, hoping artistic training might anchor him to the real world. But Blake had already chosen his world, the world of the imagination. He was apprenticed as an engraver, a craft that suited him well. Engraving required patience, detail, faith in the unseen. Blake believed that the imagination was not merely a skill, but an entire existence. He wrote, "The imagination is not a state. It is the human existence itself." In 1782, Blake married Catherine Boucher, a woman who could neither read nor write, but she believed in him. She learned to read so she could help print his poems. She learned to engrave so she could assist with his art, and she stood by him as the world dismissed him as strange, obscure, and unimportant. Blake was not poor because he lacked talent. He was poor because he refused to follow the fashions of the art world. He refused to flatter the rich or paint by convention. Instead, he created his own universe, illuminated books where poetry and images were fused together. Works like Songs of Innocence and of Experience, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, and Jerusalem, books that almost no one bought. But Blake believed his visions were not madness. They were truth. He wrote, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite." Blake's great theme was this: the world destroys our ability to see clearly. In childhood, we see with wonder. In adulthood, we see with fear. His poems captured this contrast. Innocence, the world of trust, beauty, spiritual clarity, experienced the world of suffering, corruption, and disillusionment. In The Lamb, he wrote with gentle simplicity. In The Tiger, he confronted the terrifying power of creation. No artist has ever shown how the soul is torn between purity and destruction more deeply than Blake. Blake lived through the American and French revolutions. He believed fiercely in personal liberty, spiritual and political. He railed against oppression, against industrialization, against systems that crushed the human spirit. To Blake's, imagination was the highest form of resistance. He once declared, "I must create a system, or be enslaved by another man's." At a time when the world demanded conformity, Blake demanded transcendence. In his later years, Blake lived quietly in London with Catherine, Newton, Nebuchadnezzar, the Great Red Dragon. He worked with an intensity that frightened some and inspired others. He claimed that angels still visited him. He worked on illustrated versions of Dante and the Book of Job, pouring his final energy into scenes of myth and revelation. When he died in 1827, he reportedly spent his final hours singing songs to Catherine, telling her he would see her again in eternity. He died in poverty, buried in an unmarked grave. But today, Blake is considered one of the most profound visionaries in Western art and literature. A man who refused to let the world limit the power of the human spirit. Perhaps no line captures Blake more than this: to see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower. He believed we carry infinity within us, that imagination is our doorway to truth. And maybe that's why Blake matters now more than ever. In a world drowning in noise and distraction, he reminds us that the deepest truths are not outside us. They are inside, waiting, glowing, calling to be seen. If his story moved you, please consider subscribing. There are more journeys ahead, more artists, poets, and thinkers who saw the world differently and taught us how to see.